Hello. Hello. Yeah, that's fine settings wise. What the hell is this? What the hell is going on? I'm live on YouTube. Live on Twitch. That's all I needed to see. I do not care about the rest of that. Oh, I can do commands from here real easy. That's neat. Yeah, I'm a skeleton now. I've finally found this skeleton model. I did this modeling like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Never got it actually working or complete it. Decided I'd once I found it, I would finally look into like how to finish it up and get it working. I think I'm too loud. I think I'm a little loud. That might be better. Sure, whatever. Get the game loading. Then I will. I gotta do like two things. There'll be no audio for the stream besides my voice for a second. Because I want to hear myself. I hate hearing my own voice, but it's fine. I just need to hear it. Monitor. Get away from that. Go back to this. Audio should be on the stream now. The problem with this is a 3D model for the skeleton. And the skeleton's model does not have a good tracking. It's like I'm moving my hands right now. It's not tracking anything. That will not be fixable unless I pay money, and I'm not sure if I want to. So this is just something I thought would be fun to do at some point. Honestly, I just wanted to model something in Blender, like learn how to do that. What the hell was I doing in this game? Going to the rally point? Is my inventory empty? Just about. I just wanted to learn how to 3D model years ago, and the first thing I made was a skull. Then I decided, well, keep modeling. Keep doing it. So I went from a skull to a full skeleton. And full skeleton eventually was like, I guess I might as well learn how like armatures work and like that kind of stuff functions. That's how I have a skeleton that can talk and mimics my movements. I mean, the head movements are pretty good. The face recognition stuff is pretty good. The actual mouth tracking is more so my fault than I think it is the program's fault, as I am not good at understanding how any of that works. So that's fun. I do think it'd be neat to make like a... I don't have a knife on me, do I? I do not. I do think it'd be neat to make... what do you call it? A little like box for my skeleton to sit in. I'm not even convinced if I want to keep using skeleton or not, but skeleton's fun. I like skeleton. I think skeleton might be blending into the environment too much. Let's see here. Oh, you can see little things up there. That's not good. I should remove that. You're gonna see some stuff. Wrong button. What is it? Effects? I think it's colors what I want. Then I want to touch... Is it saturation? No, what do I want to do? Brightness? Brightness seems good. Make myself a little brighter. Then I'll raise the contrast by a little and I'll change the color warmth. Yeah. I mean, that's better. I'm like slightly blue now. I gotta be slightly like purple instead. And then I'll just change the hue and the saturation by a little bit. I pop more now. That's better. I don't just blend into the road anymore. Although I'm stupid and I didn't hit this little button here. There's probably a hotkey for that I'm not going to know. I'm not going to know any of that. I think my end goal, if I want to keep using skeleton for anything, is to figure out how eye stuff works. Because the issue I've encountered now that I've made a 3D model of a skeleton is it's not really meant for doing what I'm doing right now with it, since I didn't make this with the guise of doing like a VTuber, like a little avatar thing. It was more so just a thing I wanted to learn how to do. These have so much health now. Is that you, or is that another zombie? Must be just this guy. But the issue I'm gonna have is, if I want to make eye tracking and like eye movements a thing, I'm gonna have to learn how to do like blend shapes better, and probably a lot of that stuff, which I'm not ignorant of it on a conceptual level, I just don't really understand it the best. So much health. What am I building right now? Probably sledgehammers, right? I like sledgehammers. Yeah, Skull Crusher. I need more strength to get any further with that. I need 4 strength to do big and fast, or big and strong, whatever that skill is called. Because I think that I can actually make the model track, like, my eyes, and then, like, I don't know what the fuck the word to be for that, actually. Modify the skeleton's, like, eye sockets so they kind of mimic my eye sockets. The actual, like, eye themselves probably wouldn't do anything. Although I did play with how props work in this program slightly before coming on stream, and I realized I can put things inside of the eye, so I might be able to, like, do something with that. You alive? Oh, yeah. I want to break this down. Because I'd rather have a wrench, but I'm hoping this might give me some iron. Probably won't. I think it's just going to be scrap iron. I do not care about breaking that down then. I really want to find a wrench. Potato. I don't know if wrenches are going to be found more so in, like, shops going forwards now. Rather than just, like, in bathrooms and kitchens. There's a thing up there. That's where they used to be found all the time. Cooking pot. I don't know if I bought one of those or not last time, but I'll take it with me. I will do a little bit of a loot before I come in this building. Also, I need to click off stream for a second. There you go. That was bothering me. OBS was showing, like, the borders of the skeleton image, which I don't know how to zoom in stuff in this program very well, so, like, I'm kind of just using OBS to make the image display the way I want. Skeleton's fun. I like skeleton. I have no reason for making skeleton. I just want to learn how to use Blender. And like any random thing that I learn skill-wise or hobby-wise, I end up just doing something that I think would be at least interesting to do or like practical to do. I know the classic first Blender thing to animate is the coffee cup or whatever. Which, I have nothing wrong with that coffee cup concept. Just, when I thought about making a coffee cup in Blender, I was like, that shouldn't be hard. There's probably a lot of ways to do that. I'll probably throw both of those away, honestly. But the coffee cup isn't going to make me, like... It's not going to do anything for me. I'll just understand how to make a coffee cup in Blender, which will teach me a couple different skills. Raw dog and a skeleton, though. That's a horrible statement, but doing that, like, forced me to learn how to do a bunch of stuff in Blender. I call shenanigans on that hit, but that's okay. Well, he might actually hurt me. I'm gonna jump over here. Ah, it's a biker. I do have shotgun ammo. I'm gonna do a quick little hill down here. Eat some food. I'm gonna see how many shotgun shells this takes to kill this guy. He's stuck in a wall. I think more shotgun shells than it's gonna be worth to do. Damn, he has so much health. I feel like these zombies are a bit overtuned. Ow, hitting the wrong buttons. Don't mind me. I gotta switch that around. Although that is how Minecraft works, I guess. Oh my god, there's a second one. They're so tanky. I hate them. I'm gonna... He's probably mad now, right? He's like shambling still. Get my stamina back. I have a complaint about this. I wish these zombies were not nearly as tanky. I don't know why they're so strong. Ow. Jesus Christ, he did so much damage. I must have upset like the entire horde that was up there. I don't know where this guy went. There he is. Probably... Wow, that would be one more hit. Okay. I'm gonna sit here and hide and use my skill points. Give me 1 in strength and then give me this. Is this actually that better? That much better? It just makes it faster. Whatever. It's probably better. Nothing of interest. I do need to watch out because next level up I think is when I'm going to stop having immunity. Is this going to be leather? Yes. How am I wet? Oh, you're just a body. That must have been the horde. Sure. Does this still work? Like, if you... Does this shotgun have 1 shot inside of it? Do I still have to do this? Or is that just a really old build of 7 days? It's an old build of 7 days where guns have, like, things inside of them. I can make better stone tools. Whoop. What? What's that? I don't have the stuff for it. I was like, what am I missing? Plant fiber. Well, when I go downstairs, I'll get some plant fiber and make a better stone tool. So I want a wrench real bad. I know I could have gotten a wrench from one of the quest rewards, but I think I chose gun instead. I didn't find any water. I think blueberries are a small bit of... Or are they just food? Just food. That sucks. Well, I might die of dehydration. But you know, you can't win them all, I suppose. I'm not as concerned about dying of dehydration or anything else right now. Because I don't lose anything for dying until level 6, I believe. Not super useful. There's a cabinet down there that I hovered over. I don't know. I don't know how to do, like, 3D modeling properly, so I'm pretty sure this is like a horribly optimized model. I spent a lot of time on the actual skull itself. I got a message apparently. I replied to a message. What a horrible streamer I am, sending messages. Okay. I'm done talking now to people. I need to switch those around. I don't know why this is bothering me so much. Because, like, Minecraft doesn't bother me for having my sprint and shift be in different locations. What am I looking for here? Crouch. Toggle crouch. Confirm. So toggle crouch is now that. Shouldn't it just be here? Am I stupid? Which item interact? Scope, section, run. Okay, got debound. That's what I was like, where is it? Okay, that's better. I'm just gonna try to do this stealth-wise. Swinging faster is nice. It feels better to swing fast. I know there's more zombies, I think in the living room area. I thought there's one here. Guess there's not. Close that door while I'm looting this. Eh? Not amazing loot. There's a zombie. Oh, it hurt me. Okay, these are real fake cupboards, not fake real cupboards. Because there's one cupboards that are like broken-ish. You can smash down. God, this house is kind of bad. All this house has had has been like cooking pots and I think that's it actually. Maybe some money. Hopefully it's not two bikers again. It's not two bikers. Oop. Whiffed that altogether. I'm gonna get down here. The stairs add like a weird bit of like collision nonsense. It's one biker at least. My gun loaded? Gun is loaded. I might eat some glass after I beat this quest. Oh, he died in one hit. Because I don't really, ow. feel the need to use all my food and water at the house. This guy is real tanky. That should probably be all the zombies. I don't think things can be behind here. Yeah, it's probably too small of a picture. This might be hiding something. Nope. It was nothing. I make a wrench now. I don't have I don't have the stuff to do that. I don't think there's any more zombies. There's ammo. Better pipe. I don't think I actually broke open the container last time. I forgot I was a skeleton at first. I looked over at OBS and was like, what the fuck's going on there? I'm finding so many magazines for not the stuff I need. Like, I would assume Sledgehammer magazines will spawn inside of, like, tool-related boxes, but I haven't seen any of those. There's honey. That's pretty cool. Okay. Well, I guess I'll get out of here. Does this do anything useful early game? I can make bellows with it. Not really. I don't think I need cooking pots, but I'll bring them with me just in case. I can get rid of that shotgun. Here's a question. One of these should have ammo in it, so I have a 10 stack there. So if I scrap this, will I get... Yes, so scrapping it does remove the ammunition from the actual gun. That's how it should work, but 7 Days has always been kind of a jank game, so... Just gotta make sure. I don't know if it was an earlier build of 7 Days, or just maybe my imagination. But I swear that there was a situation in which you had to, like, double check that every single gun you, scrapped was actually unloaded, because it would just waste the ammunition. That could have been some weird mod causing issues, because that does happen for this game. It also could just be 7 Days is weird. Because 7 Days is a weird game. Paintbrush. Ooh. Modify. Take my gross brown dye off of there. W is complete. Okay. And then I probably won't actually switch over to iron tools immediately. I don't really have a good supply of iron, and I don't really have, like, good inventory space. The biggest issue I see with iron tools early game is that before you have a lot more inventory slots, it's hard to navigate iron tools due to them having... You have to have, like, an axe, a pickaxe. It's, like, separate from each other, instead of having your, like, general purpose one. So I think having, like, a tier 5 stone axe is probably better than getting early game iron tools. That and the stamina cost of the early game iron tools is pretty substantial. So I'm not the biggest fan of prioritizing iron tools immediately. Once my character's a little more upgraded, then it'll be more advantageous. Ugh. Being a skeleton's weird. Like, I'm looking over at OBS. The actual tracking's pretty interesting. I wonder if it's better to leave it the way it is, or I'm kind of like looking in a jar. Because when I'm looking at 7 Days, my head's like tilted towards the screen a little bit. I wonder if it'd be better if I looked like down a little bit, then reset the position, so that I'm looking kind of upwards, kind of like where the gameplay is happening. I don't know. Never really thought about how this stuff works. I should be able to just make it in time to complete this quest and grab another one. I might not be able to sell stuff today, but that's fine.
At least, didn't we agree your first job was going to be free?
Damn,
This is all I can
I
spend.
guess I'll take grilled. I guess like grilled meat. Give me this
I got
clear
some
quest.
It's a deal. Disappoint me, and you take a look. But don't expect me to hold your hand through it.
I'm just gonna drop everything on the ground that isn't useful to me immediately. You won't buy old sham sandwich. I want potatoes. You won't buy sand. I have so many cooking pots. Keep the cat food. You won't buy niter powder. I think everything else I want to keep. I don't remember. I don't recall what this guy has on him. I don't think I want any of that. Wrench would be cool, but I have the money for it. Advanced Bellows is also good. That's probably what I was going to go for, was Advanced Bellows, to be my guess. I think everything else I don't really care about.
Oh, you want a guarantee, huh? Well, maybe you should try Shamway.
Where is my... Oh, my hovel's this way. My little box in bed. I'm gonna drop everything off, eat a piece of glass, and then go on this quest. Because I think this quest is going to push me over the limit. Some water. Turn that off. Don't need steroids on me. What is the button? Is it this one? It's that one. What stuff in here do I not need to keep on me like this? Stone shovel's pretty worthless. I can just make more of those. That's pretty worthless. I can't use that right now. I think some of the stuff like the flowers are not very useful, but I'll keep them. Don't need that. I think that does mean, yeah, cooking pots. Break those down. Keep the food on me. I don't think I really care about the rest of this, so if I have to drop it, I can just drop it. Do I have glass? Yes. Take one glass. Eat the glass. This will kill you. That's fine. Eat the crunchy glass. I recall that there was some mod I played where like you can get such high health regen. I'm a woman. Didn't know that. You get such high health regen that you can just ignore like glass eating damage. I don't recall what mod that was, but that was insane. Maybe on bed would have been easier since I was next to my bed. Well, now I gotta actually survive. No more, just wildly eating glass and dying. I hope that he still gives a bike out on, like, the 10th or whatever completion of a quest. Because early game bike is real nice. Especially when you have, like, a map that's actually...
We're closed, so fuck off.
He's so rude. A map that's actually, like, reasonable to traverse with a map. Or with a bike. Not like some random gen map. Although I have heard they made random gen maps way better in the 1.0 update. There's blood here. I think next time I play the game will probably end up being modded or like random gen with a couple like maybe not major mods, but mods that change like small stuff. There's a lot of like good little mods that exist. I think it's unfair to mod the game right now because I've only ever played pre 1.0 modded and pre 1.0 7 days in general. But I played a lot of 7 days. I want to say it's like 200 hours of this game. Something about this game has just been very, very comforting for me. It's a very cozy game. Which I'm sure is a weird statement for a lot of people, to want to play a game where you walk around just like bashing zombies. Get my stamina back. But I don't know. It's a fun one. I should get some rocks too while I'm out. So I can repair my sledge. Can I make a better sledge? No. Need my sledge skill up. It's gonna be quite dark as well. I think all I've found is a candle so far. I think I found a flashlight and I destroyed it or sold it because I'm stupid. Sure. I also think there was a mod that made it so, like, when you open vehicles, there's a chance that they set off, like, alarms. So anyway, there's not a zombie here, right? Ooh, actual meat. Not trash meat. Delicious. Okay, you're dead. Pipe baton. I wonder if, like, the spears work better than they used to. I was never a big fan of the spears. I thought that the, like, throwing thing was not very good. Like, throwing attack. It also felt kind of, like, janky, because you just end up losing your spear in the terrain, because the game's physics engine is a little bit weird. But to be fair, they could fix that in multiple ways. I just don't know, like, what all they've done update-wise. Because I didn't really follow the 1.0 development. I know they changed how the skill system works for sure. They changed city generation, I know that for sure. A few of the zombie models they've updated and, like, added things in. Like, I think the first time they added jiggle physics was because of the... These guys suck. I want him to jump. Was because of the cop zombie or the Hawaiian zombie? I see these guys are still weird nonsense creatures where they, like, jump around. I feel like they should have fixed their AI a little bit, because the difficulty of those dummies is that they, like, jump over you a lot, so when you're fighting other zombies, they're hard to, like, track. But I feel like 1v1, they're pretty easy, because all they do is jump over you. Oh god. Military base. This is not the hard one, but I know this one has, like, 7 or so, like, military zombies. And given how hard the biker zombies are now, I assume the military zombies are going to be way more difficult. Harvest animal. Do snakes have a chance? I'm not sure call them snacks. I guess they are a little snack. Do they have a chance to drop eggs still? Or is that a mod? I swear that snakes used to drop eggs at some point. But I feel like that could have just been a mod I was playing that made snakes drop eggs. Some stuff like that will always be stuck in my head. Like, I don't recall what mod it was, but you can, like, collision glitch and like dig one block down, like one block out, and then crouch, and you can see through the map. Due to like whatever weird nonsense interaction was going on with that. Dead. I'm happy my sledge is actually doing damage. I've always enjoyed sledges in zombie games like these. The high damage, high risk reward situation going on there. I've been meaning to actually play like Dying Light 2 all the way through. As I played most of it, then stopped due to work, which is a pretty common thing. Where like I don't beat a lot of long games because working a regular job makes it kind of difficult to maintain your position. Ooh, honey. And my memory doesn't help that in the slightest. So my memory is dog trash. Another snake. Hunt an animal. Not a lot of snakes I'm killing, so that's cool. Didn't loot this one. Can I make bacon and eggs yet? No. That's behind food 10. It's not that bad. I don't know how I feel about the food system, or not the food system. I don't know how I feel about them changing the unlock system the way they did. I think that it would have worked better if they did it in conjunction with how it used to be, like in the beta 16, alpha 16, whatever that was, where the game would also let you get skill progression through doing activities. I feel like if you had like an XP bar that would let you get progression, that's probably an explosive. Get progression by using the skill, but a lot less than if you just found a book for it. It would make it, I'm going to avoid that zombie. It would make it a fair bit more engaging and fun to mess with. As it stands right now, the RNG mechanics of this game have gotten a lot harsher since you have to find so many magazines to be able to do what you could have done before. So there's like less of a guarantee on survival. Which, you know, I guess is fine in concept, but I think that it diminishes the experience of the game just a little bit. I'll probably end up playing Project Zomboid, because I think that that game's doing its system's a lot more interesting to me, where it's still pretty RNG dependent, but you can usually get around a lot of the issues. This guy's going to be hard to kill. A lot of the issues of the game with just proper... I'm surprised he died that easy. With just proper understanding of like where to go and what to do. There's still some stuff you just can't like do by default. Like, I don't know if there's any way to use a generator without finding the generator magazine in that game. That being said, you can usually find a generator magazine if you go to one of the bookstores. So it becomes less of a get lucky and more of like you gotta fight your way to the bookstore. Which I feel like isn't that bad, because it encourages people to learn how to actually play the game and like, learn the combat mechanics, which are a little weird in Project Zomboid. 7 Days is a lot easier in comparison. You just hit things. The weird thing about this game for its combat is like the hit detection on swings and stuff was a little clunky. Zombie there. There's probably, yeah, I think there's one right there. I can't tell if that's one there. I think I only got one of them mad at me. Okay, now this guy's mad. Close the door just to be safe, in case the other one woke up. Okay, and now I can't die anymore. Well, I guess I can, just dying is far less acceptable than it was prior. Give me one more strength, because then I get another sledge skill once I level up again. Swing and a miss. I am blown away there wasn't a zombie in here. They love doing that. There's a wall safe. Ooh, nice. How do I make that? Is that be under weapon? I mean, I guess I could just lean in. That's pretty easy to make, actually. It's not too bad. Gravedigger is pretty good, too. Don't mind my inability to speak. This bed has some really weird, like, collision stuff going on with it. It's probably nothing. That was this. I hovered over the trash and I thought this was lootable for a second. I was like, what the hell? Why is that lootable? Well, there's some more cooking magazines. That'll give me some good progress towards making bacon and eggs. Which I assume is probably still the best, like, early game food source. Just the eggs are hard to find, of course. Don't need nails. I don't really need lead or anything else. I'll keep one of those on me. Should I start collecting cement, or should I just not worry about it? I guess I'm not too over-encumbered, so I'm not concerned right now. That's locked. This probably goes downstairs, which I don't think downstairs will have... It might have tools. And there's a zombie. Can I sneak up on her? There's trash on the ground. Kind of. Let her get up. I don't know if it's another zombie mad or that one dying. I think that's just that one dying. That sucks. That's so sad having that whole workbench have nothing inside of it. Oh, there's some steel sledge tool parts. That's nice at least. The lighting engine's a lot better in this game than it used to be. I will say that about this game. What'll be better for this? About 50? Let's see. So hold down this for a second and it'll just yap. Other than this game, I think I am going to complete not the Stick of Truth. The Fractured But Whole. South Park Fractured But Whole. I bought it on Steam. It was pretty cheap. I beat the main game like years ago when it first came out. I wasn't super impressed with it. It's not a bad game by any means. I never ended up playing the DLCs though. I will say, as a guy from Colorado who has been to Castaneda multiple times throughout my life, mostly as a kid and then twice as an adult, I will mention that Castaneda is not exactly the same in that DLC as it is in the restaurant. They took a lot of creative liberties with the like the layout of the restaurant. Because in real life, Castaneda is insanely large for its multiple floors. The walkways kind of all intersect and interconnect. So you can easily get kind of lost in Castaneda, even with the redesign they did more recently when the South Park guys bought it. What they did capture is the main things. Like the weird... It's a Mexican-American restaurant that has a mining subtext theme to a part of it. You get the oh, hey, gun. You get the goofy nonsense from there where it's like there's just weird stuff like the gorilla going on. There's the puppet shows that are just happening. A lot of that stuff, even if you go to the restaurant, I guess I can loot the main loot source. When you go to the actual restaurant Casa Bonita, there's a lot of stuff there that you gotta really question because it's like, why is this here? There's no way there's not like 3 zombies in here. That one's mad at me. Oh, you son of a bitch. Okay, thank you, game, for making that a lot harder than it needed to be. Oh, this is all easily preventable, since I even have honey on me right now. How do you fix skinned legs? Or whatever the hell this is. Oh, I already treated it. It's abrasion. Yeah, the terrain of the roof made that hard to hit the zombie. I don't know. It's interesting. The Casa Bonita DLC. Tier 5. I think it's mostly good. I feel like the problem I have with the Fractured But Whole is the combat isn't as consistent as what I liked from the Stick of Truth. And, oh hey, Ranger's hood. That's probably better than my clothes. And that's mostly, I think, because like the developers didn't want to make a more consistent like RPG where things interlock more. A lot of the like Fractured But Whole stuff going on feels more like it's like inherently more gimmicky. I do need to start dropping things or using stuff. I guess I'll just eat some random food. This will tell me the recipes for these, right? If I had... Yeah, they'll tell me the recipe, so I can eat peas. Miso soup doesn't have any recipes? That feels weird. That might get me up to full hunger. But like the Fractured But Whole's DLCs really proved to me the issue with the game for like how it's balanced. Because the final boss of both of the DLCs just was a slog to get through. I wouldn't call them hard in the conventional sense. They just weren't super enjoyable to fight. Like, the fight with, I forget the alien's name from... Oh, it's Forged Iron. From, the Mintberry Crunch DLC. There's a zombie behind me. Why weren't you there before? But from the Mintberry Crunch DLC. That fight was really annoying. Not because it was difficult, like I think I barely took damage that whole fight. But just it had way too much health, like it wasn't super fun to fight, it wasn't overly engaging for its mechanic. It just kind of like put down like fire traps on the ground. Okay. And I feel like that's just not as fun. Now there's 3 zombies in here. There's one in there now. And the other DLC, Casa Bonita, the Michael Jackson fight was like miserable to do. It was so unfun. And a lot of that stuff's because like they either spawn in tons of ads and the ads are just unbearably annoying to deal with. or it's because like they heal constantly or whatever. Like the Michael Jackson fight with the constant spawning vamp kids, that sucked, man. I guess they didn't spawn in constantly, just they got healed all the time from Michael and his nonsense. And it really isn't worth like prioritizing stopping him from healing them, because then you're just doing less damage. So what ended up happening with that one was like I just would have one person consistently killing the vamp kids, and then everybody else is just smacking Michael over and over again. Which just wasn't engaging, gameplay-wise. It's a bummer because I feel like Fractured But Whole is a really fun game as a South Park experience, because it does a good job of like presenting the like odd quirks of the actual show. I do feel like the Stick of Truth as the first South Park game was a much more overall engaging experience. Because that one, like, I think the ending was more interesting. It actually felt like a completed game in that sense. And especially, though, not... the, like, RPG mechanics were actually really fun. Oh, sick. Never punished. What the hell is this? I think I need those. Get rid of this. I need this. Modify you. Wait, wrong thing. Modify you. Get rid of feathers. Put you on. Break you down. Modify. Pockets. Modify. Boom. Oh, that's so much worse, but it's night vision, so I don't care. It's so much worse than it used to be. That's hilarious. Break those down. Sick, though. I love that. Why did I smack that instead of opening it? Nothing else to do here. I don't want to be too critical of like the South Park games, because I feel like both of the RPG South Park games, the more conventional ones, were pretty fun. I'm also be more biased towards like the Stick of Truth versus Fractured But Whole, mostly due to how the game like synergizes your like upgrades and abilities. So while there's far less abilities and like customization in terms of what you're doing in the game, I guess not what you're doing, what your animations are for like doing damage, the game just feels so much better. You do have recipes. Antibiotics. Screw those. Don't need plant fiber. Get rid of paper. I could just shovel some food in my mouth again. That gets rid of those. Could pop a steroid. They're worth a lot of money, though. Don't need wood. Don't need stones. Are bones actually valuable for anything? Make glue. I'm fine. I'll just run home with this stuff. Yeah, these guys. I'm pretty sure these guys have, like, belly physics now. Or is it the other one? No, these have them. I think all the big zombies got belly physics. Damn, this guy has a lot of health now. I think he's always had a lot of health, but it feels like he has way more in the newer build. I know, I like South Park games. They're fun. I'm a South Park fan. I think it's neat that South Park was made by guys from Colorado, and they reference Colorado so often because being from there, it's an odd as hell state. It is so different. It is so different from a lot of the rest of the world for the like America. So I've been to a lot of America, mostly the East, to be fair. And there's such a high amount of variety between like ideology in Colorado, which really gets me. And South Park does a good job of representing that, where there's a decent amount of like the more like rural, like the hillbilly redneck kind of people, which they do exist. It's mostly in the south of Colorado versus the north. The north tends to be a bit more like uppity yuppie in terms of how that kind of stuff works. Which, to be fair, I'm from the north. I'm making fun of myself in that statement. There's an interesting amount of duality going on there. Something fell down. It's quite loud. I have all this on me, right? Yeah. I'll do a quick little loot. See what's going down in this place. Oh, never mind. I've already been here. It was just dark when I came here, I think, the first time. So I feel like South Park is a fun representation of the state. At least it's more interesting to me that they do something with it than like most of people's like descriptions of Colorado, where it's just a flyover state. And I'm from the town that South Park makes fun of a lot, which is Greeley, which is so fun for me because Greeley is a nonsense place to live. The history of Greeley is insane. Like, anytime I ever look into Greeley, I'm always like, what the hell is going on with this fucking place? I remember being a kid and thinking, like, this place is boring and weird. And it is boring and weird. But there's a lot going on historically that has an odd precedent for a lot of, like, America in general. The actual founder of my town was a historic liar and journalist. Because the town, Greeley, Colorado, was founded by a guy who came here. Actually, I'm not sure he came here initially. I know he lied about this place. I know he lied and said this little town in the middle of nowhere in Colorado was sick. And everybody was like, damn, that guy is talking this place up. We gotta go there. So then he was forced to actually make something here instead of it just being like a middle of nowhere with like a couple buildings, I'm sure, at that point. He's also, though, well known as a journalist because he covered multiple different events throughout history. I think it was the American Revolution. No, not the sorry, American Revolution. The American Civil War that he covered pretty in depth. So there's a fair bit of documentation that is directly credited towards Greeley, the guy, and it's just surreal seeing that. The other particularly relevant piece of history for my hometown is that it is the modern home of terrorism. Real weird statement to make. It is actually true, though. The guy himself who started like the weird wave of terrorism, Saeed Kitab, not a great individual. Kind of like huge loser, as far as I can understand. At least based off of his writings and recountings of him as a person, he wasn't very kind and he was very like introverted and kind of odd, unpleasant. Came to the local university. At that point, I think it was called like, what was it called? It wasn't called UNC at that point because it's not the University of Colorado. I think it might have been called like maybe like Colorado College, like maybe UCC or something. Is he lootable? No. He came to the college nearby. Absolutely hated it. Despised being here. I mean, I guess I'll take... Let's take the Batter Up book. Take me
Come
this
to
one.
think of, can't say I'm not surprised. For fuck's sake,
But
what
he
is
came
it
here,
now?
absolutely hated it, despised this place, wanted to leave, and he did. But he went home to Egypt, I believe, where he ended up writing his manifesto. That manifesto became the baseline information for all of like modern terrorism. So he's a real influential person in the worst way possible. I can sell this stuff. Mm-mm-mm. It's a bit crazy though to think about that and be like,
All that gawking at goods.
just a random guy went to the middle of a town in Colorado, thought like, oh, this place is full of debauchery, and this is like 1950s or 60s America, so it's way less crazy than it is now. So he was upset that like women were wearing skirts that were down to their knees, I believe, was what his mention was. That they're being escorted without people being there, like men. What are some other weird radical things that guy talked about? Give this sand. Put this bellow in here. Get rid of this paper. Don't need glass. Don't need plant fiber, really. Although I should pick those up and take the stuff to make a better pick, so I think I can make a tier 5 now. And put those away. Chicken stock has recipes, so I should put that away. So does the meat. I don't think I need niter powder, because that just means ammo, right? Ammo and antibiotics, but that's fine. I could also make another box. Is it called a box or is it called crate now? What is this? Oh, I'm under the wrong area, aren't I? Box. Building resource. What is it called now? Is it called chest still? This just looks weird. What is this? Crate. There you go. Storage crate. My lovely house will have 2 crates now. Oh, my stuff despawned. Oh well. I just need plant fiber to make more interesting things. I'll put gun away, so I don't need other gun. Can of chili has recipes. Keep that, put this down here, put this here. Keep this food on me. Okay. Then I need... Oop, that's not what I need. 2 of those. Give me a tier 5. Boop, and do I have these in my chest already? I do not. Back to quests. It's not really like a proud thing either. I'm not sure if I'm proud that my hometown gave birth to the ideology that caused modern terrorism, but it is an interesting historical thing, concept, factoid. It might win like a trivia contest. I don't think many more like terribly interesting things go on in my hometown. Kind of like a classic northern Colorado town, so tons of like bootlegging. I don't remember if there's prostitution in my town or that was the town's over during the 1950s. Because like speakeasies and like brothels were big deals at some point in the history of northern Colorado. I want to say that might have been before the 1950s, actually, because that might have been more around the Civil War that was going on. I haven't learned about, oddly enough, I haven't learned about the prostitution of northern Colorado since I was in middle school. As that's when my history teacher, who had like, her family had a precedent for owning a brothel, went on like a long, multiple class rant about the history of prostitution in Colorado. A lot of that didn't stick because it's not super like relevant or interesting. I think it's pretty common that that was a thing around different periods in American history. It's just factoids about Colorado I know. Hey, this place. I like Colorado. I feel like as a state, it's one of my favorites. It's not my favorite for the cost. Everything costs so much here now. Like the fact that I'm making $16.50 in my normal job, and that is not enough to live comfortably in an apartment, is insane. Like that should not be the cost of living for the area I'm in. 'Cause I'm not in a very like prestigious area. But it's even worse in like Denver, the capital, because like Denver's, I think minimum wage there is, it might be 19. I forget if it's $3 higher or $1 higher than what I'm making right now. It might only be 17. I think the minimum wage might be 17, and the average is like close to 19 for a lot of jobs. I'll go here now because it's the day. Like, Denver is super expensive to live in. This is the one where the entrance is over here, isn't it? Just parking in Denver is insane. Like, getting your vehicle parked for just a couple hours is like $20+. It's not even a guarantee your vehicle will be safe or like behind an enclosed area. It's like a, more often than not, just a dirt lot you put your car in. Or like maybe some concrete lot like behind a bunch of buildings. Nice. Like I've had very little issue going to Denver and dealing with like vandalism and like people breaking into cars and stuff, but I know it does happen on a regular basis. This guy. Ow, hit me through the bars. Or I hit the barbed wire, one of the two. To some extent, I always wonder if the crime rates in Denver are higher or lower than they are reported. Because when you talk about the idea of like a crime that's been done, you're only discussing crimes that have been reported, I believe. So not actually like discussing like the potential for a crime, which is impossible to represent or conceptualize. Well, he'll figure it out eventually. I don't know. My town I live in Colorado had a well-known like gang problem throughout my early like childhood. How do I go down ladders in this game? Okay, sure. I think that's mostly gone away. I also wonder if it was actually gangs or if it was just people who said they're in a gang and would often act in particular ways to kind of represent that. Because I've only ever met like a handful of real deal gangsters in Colorado. They do exist. I'm not saying they don't, but it's pretty clear when you meet the wannabes versus the actual people who do like criminal activity. I think my favorite story of meeting like my first real gangster was in high school. So I knew them before that, but I didn't like really associate with them or talk to them. I don't associate with them or talk to them now or even in high school. But I was in class and my teacher was like, "Hey, the person sitting next to you is going to be your partner for whatever project we were doing for history class." Ow. Oh, I'm definitely going to die here, I think. That's brutal. Damn, I'm surprised I got through that. I am destroyed, but I got through it. Ow! Damn zombies. Eat some meat while I'm here. Eat one good meat and a couple bad meats. I'm not concerned about the infection. I don't know what the hell this is, though. Fatigued. Eat vitamins to cure this. Well, that's miserable. Thank you, dogs, for fatiguing me. Either way, I met I didn't meet him, but I've talked to my first world gangster like in depth during that class. He had crazy stories. Like, I don't know if half of those are true or not, but if even if half of them were true, he had some insane things he was talking about. Fucking dogs. Why are there so many of these here? You dead? You are not dead. Now you are. But my favorite interaction with him, bar none while in class, because he never went to class. So he was only there like maybe 10% of the time in school in general. Like he was either skipping school or like whatever. I believe he eventually went to jail? Because he was a bit older. I think when I was in freshman year, he was a super senior, so he was past senior year. So he was probably like 18 at the earliest, I would assume. He was already covered in tattoos, like fucking head to toe. I think he was pretty cut up and bruised most of the time as well, so I don't know what he was doing in his personal life. Well, I had some ideas about it, but doesn't matter. We're in class, and I don't remember what my history teacher said to warrant any response for what's going to happen, but he said something like the north side of Germany, or like something about geographic locations in terms of like the northern region of a place. And immediately, some little like gangbanger guy, who obviously wasn't a gangster, he just idolized the lifestyle, stands up and goes north side and does the little north side like hand gesture. Disrupts the whole class. Like everybody stops, they stare at him, and this gangster guy that's my class project partner stands up and says, "Shut the fuck up, man," and just screams it at this kid. And my teacher, having no idea how to treat any of the situation, just looks at both of them and goes, "Yeah, I guess be quiet." That was a fun class. Good times, that one. I feel like that was what I liked from school, was those kinds of days where I'd go in and be an absolute mess and no one had a handle on what was happening. Well, there's the honey situation done. I'm just fatigued now. School was weird for that, because like a lot of the like Hispanic dudes that went to school had like real weird precedents for like they loved Mexico as a place but had never been there, and they loved like the gang culture but were not in gangs. So it was often really odd to talk to them because they would speak like very kindly about things they've never experienced. If you were like ask them legitimate questions, they'd be like, "Oh, well, I don't know, it seems good." I'm like, "Okay, cool." Like I went to Mexico a couple times throughout my childhood, before it became too expensive and dangerous to go there on a regular basis. And it's like a real mixed bag. I still remember being a kid and like walking around with my parents in relatively like subway, like just the slums, like places where there's just trash everywhere, like it's not well kept. And discussing with my friend who's from Mexico, immigrated to America like 20 odd years ago. Yeah, it's pretty representative of a lot of the country. Not all of it, of course. Some of it's much better than others, but there's a lot of places that have extreme amounts of problems there, and they are just not being addressed due to whatever, like local corruption or cartel or whatever you want to do. Take your pick in terms of a concept. That happens almost every place you go to. But Mexico is very upfront about it in some areas. Which is a bummer, because Mexico does have, like, redeeming qualities in terms of its, like, landmarks, historical stuff going on. It had a real neat, like, arts communities and stuff there. Like, Mexico is one of the biggest places for Surrealist art. Is there another zombie, or are you just making weird zombie sounds? But Surrealism is my favorite, like, kind of art. Favorite genre of art. What more of those? There has to be another zombie out this wall. So I know, like, I've read a decent amount about Mexico and its like value in terms of arts and like culture and stuff. So it's sad to see a lot of that get like diminished and degraded over time due to people just not treating the land and whatnot with any amount of respect. Like, I think my biggest source of resentment, because I'm Mexican, I'm Hispanic. The biggest source of resentment towards Mexico is probably the axolotl as a concept. Because it is a extremely interesting, like, animal in terms of its, would it be genealogy? It's gonna be genealogy. It's an extremely interesting animal. It developed in a really weird way because it didn't have a good, like, place to exist. Its habitat was very dangerous towards it and almost everything else around it. Meaning that, like, it couldn't just leave the lake and become a salamander, which is what axolotls are. They're just salamanders. So it had to stay in the lake that it was born into. And over time, it just never ended up doing its, I forget the name of it when it, like, actually becomes a salamander. This is not evolution, it's a different term. I'm gonna call it devolution. Devolution? What the fuck did the Digimon call it? I keep on calling it de-evolution, but that's not what it is. Whatever. When it digivolves, there you go. When the axolotl digivolves into a salamander, it does it because it's going onto the land, which is usually a more habitable place in the waters. Axolotls don't have that luxury, so they always stay in the actual, in the waters, as a prepubescent species. Which is really weird. The sadness to the axolotl is that its habitat was like 2 major bodies of water in Mexico. As far as I understand, both of those bodies of water have been built on top of and destroyed, so it is like almost impossible for the axolotl to live in its native habitat. Just due to like pollution and like people displacing them. Birds? Birds. Which is sad. It's real sad to see and do. I recall this one being a mess. I think it's easier to go this way and like jump off. And they'll follow you and usually fall down. And it's just sad. Like, I like axolotls. I think any interesting animal like that, where it has, like, a real weird history of why it developed the way it did, is neat. And to see it, like, essentially not exist in nature anymore is a real depressing concept. Like, I'll joke at the expense of animals, in terms of, like, I've made jokes at, like, about sloths and whatnot in the past, but it is sad that, like, sloths' environments are being destroyed. Oh, come on. Jerk. So many zombies. Dude, corn. Nothing else. There might be stuff up here that I can't see. Oh, that one's locked. Well, I probably won't make it back to the trader before it becomes night, so it might just be worth like breaking into this real quick. By real quick, I mean it's gonna take a second. Pick up folding chair. I don't know. I think some animals are real sad for their history. Like the dodo is kind of a sad one. Because I believe the dodo was it Danish explorers found the island? Is it the Easter Islands where the dodos are from? I think it's the Easter Islands. But people found the dodo as an animal, and it was just essentially a big pigeon, but didn't have like any natural predators because the island was so out of the way. And why would it? I mean, like, there's nothing else around it. Didn't need to evolve to have any kind of like defense mechanism or whatever. They can just get fat and live on an island. I'm a skeleton, forgot about that. They just get fat and live on an island. So when people found them on the island, they're like, sick, big bird. And they would kill them and eat them. They would just release their like dogs there on the islands, and the dogs would, of course, just kill these animals because they're defenseless birds. And as time went on, like the dodos just got killed and hunted to extinction. It's not even that they're like particularly dumb as far as I understand. I think they're probably about an average like non-parrot or non like there's a name for the smarter birds, I think, but a not smart bird, probably like not one of the like parrots or corvids, but probably like no dumber than like a pigeon is. Which, like, pigeons get a kind of a bad rap for being dumb little beasts, but they're not. They're like any animal in terms of their instincts and whatnot. They're not like as intelligent as a human or like maybe a dolphin or something that has a greater degree of like self and understanding of the world around it. But I wouldn't call most birds truly idiots or like dumb. Like they can survive fine in nature. There are birds that are insanely smart, like parrots or corvids, the crows, magpies, and all those guys. Those ones are terrifying in concept. Like, I am excited and scared for the idea of parrots becoming more widespread across the world, because if their habitats are displaced, and if things are getting hotter across the world, a parrot could survive in more regions than it can now. You're seeing that currently with Australia, I believe, has a really bad cockatoo population, where like they're becoming a pest. And that's kind of like a joke that Futurama was doing with owls, because owls are kind of a nuisance in a lot of places where they are native to, as there's not many predators that kill owls, and they are quite good hunters, so they will kill like small species like mice and lizards, other birds, almost to extinction. Pocket mod's good. That's some tasty loot. Although I can't use it, I don't think. I could make some gloves or footwear. Primitive outfit. Primitive shoes. I just need plant fiber. I'll make some of those. I have an abrasion, don't I? I would have definitely have missed that jump. I'm a big fan of parrots. I like parrots a lot. I like parrots and crows. I've nothing against like a parakeet as an animal. They're cute. But they tend to be less like personality based, where I can't discern their personalities easily as a parrot. Like parrots will have very distinct personalities. And I know that like parrots are more so about mimicry than they are about like having a really unique personality in and of themselves, I suppose. But you're assigning one because you're seeing like human emotions through the parrot, which might just be because they can mimic emotions. So it's in question like how much of the animal is actually there versus you perceiving it as being there. That being said, I don't give a shit. They're cute and they're fun. A lot of work though. We used to have a parrot in my household. It was a African gray. Lovely bird. Very aggressive. It was a rescue, to be fair, and where it came from wasn't a good household, so that bird had some problems with its behavior. Nothing that I think was too bad. Like, it never really ripped into my flesh or like hurt me too badly. It definitely could have. But it's a weird situation with a lot of birds like that. A lot of rescue animals in general, because you have to build up like a bond with them, and they have to get a understanding of who you are and what you want. Because without that, they're not going to trust you, and they're more likely to like act out or to do harm. But a lot of their acting out is less like, oh, they truly want you to die, and more so like they don't really know what you are or what you're doing. They just fear you. So it was always a little like nerve-wracking showing people this big bird because it can rip your finger off. And while she's never done that to anybody as far as I know, she has done serious damage because people will go up to her and like they'll try to touch her and then she'll get spooked and she'll bite them. With that all being said, like her bites were less bad than like a medium dog bite in most situations. Because I don't think she was trying to do damage, like I said. I think she was just trying to spook you off of, like, touching her. I can make gloves. I need duct tape. I don't need it for fours, though. Make some fours. Then I'll modify this with some pockets. Do I have the stuff to make shoes as well? Yes, I just need some more plant fiber. Well, that one's not coming. I don't know. I've dealt with a lot of like animals that were kind of like rescues or didn't have the best situations for where they were brought up. For a long time, I was well known for befriending mean animals, which I think was is a harsh statement to make. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. I'm not used to talking so much. I think they just were scared. More so than they are mean. Already looted those. But like I had a friend whose grandmother would take in a lot of animals. A lot of like stray cats and dogs and stuff. She would act as a rescue more or less, but she didn't like have the means to really care for the more like, oh hey there, the more like temperamental animals in terms of like befriending them and the time to like spend with them to make them feel more comfortable. She wouldn't like abuse them or anything, but she would just end up being like, hey, if you need space, you need space. I would try my darndest to make them like less scared of everything around them. And that's a weird process. You can't like force yourself on them. You have to just slowly build up this level of trust and understanding. I recall that she had a cat once. I think the cat may have passed away now, which is sad because that was a lovely cat. But it was a cat that came from a abusive home beforehand. Wasn't treated the best prior to going to the place it was at. When I met the cat, it was like matted up. It wouldn't let me touch it. It was a real hassle to even like come near it, and it would attack usually or like run away. And it took me, I think it was like months of just hanging out with that cat. Like every day I'd go over there and just sit near it, like give it some food or a treat, like walk away, and it would go over get the stuff. Eventually started coming to me, and I would have to act really slowly and not like spook it. After a couple months though, it got to the point where the cat would like lay on me while I was sitting on the couch or whatever. Hey, loot. At that point, it was a lot easier to deal with it because, like, I could just cut off its knotted like fur or whatever. But I still remember everybody seeing me interact with this animal and being like, "What's going on with you? Why is this mean animal like you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It just likes me." What does springs do for me? They make guns. They make bike parts. Springs are probably worth having. Here are these nails. Don't need wood. Don't need this. I don't really need coffee, but I'll take it for now. Or even this cat in my lap right now. This cat in my lap, when I first met this cat, was standoffish, very rude, just overall scared of people. I don't know how long it took for me to befriend this animal, because my roommate moved in with me, and he was like, yeah, this cat would have been essentially either like abandoned or like given to a farm maybe, if it didn't come with me, because it was an outdoor cat that lived on a farm already. It didn't like people very much. It was very scared. And over the course of the first probably year I spent in the house with it, it very slowly like adapted to me as a person. Knuckle wrap. Huh. Give it a corn mill. But yeah, it's a good animal. He's a good fella. I still remember, like, I think it was 4 or 5 months in when the cat would come up to me and like demand attention. And around then is when people started seeing me like mess with this cat, and people being like, "Why does this animal like you?" Because it was still scared of everybody else. And I had no idea. I have no idea what I particularly did. I just let it be. I would occasionally go and see how it's doing. I think eventually it just didn't see me as a threat, is why it started coming up to me. Now it's been like 7 years later or something since I met that animal, since I met the cat. And it is the most social cat in the house. Like, if a person comes over, it wants to see that person. It wants to meet them. It wants to mess with them, to like have them pet it. I want these motors, or these engine parts. Get rid of feathers. And to see that development of an animal is really neat. To go from being so scared it won't even like come near anybody, to walking up to a stranger and demanding attention. That's sick. Eat some food, I guess. You have recipes, I want to keep you. I'll eat the last bad steak and drink some more water. Is there a zombie back here again? There's no zombie back here. I think maybe when I go to the trader again to drop off this quest, I'll stop streaming. I have about a 2-hour stream. And, it's a real bummer though about animals, because you get so like used to them. And they are inevitably going to like pass away, but it's all about the time with them versus the the inevitable future where they're gone. That's something like, I don't know. I grew up around like cats and dogs and like lizards and stuff. My family always had like fish, cats, dogs, all kinds of things. So while I'm always sad when an animal passes away or like has to be put down for whatever medical reason, it's more so about like the journey than anything else. And as much as it hurts every time, I'm always like, I'll eventually find the next animal that meshes with me as an individual. They make legendary tools now. Throw it on the ground. Why am I keeping yucca fruit? Do I need yucca fruit? Do yucca fruit do anything for me? Like this zombie. Let me make yucca juice. Is yucca juice like inherently better? I know the smoothies are better, but like, is the juice much better? It probably gives you more hydration and maybe a bit of food or something. I don't really recall what yucca juice gives you. Pumpkin bread. I feel like there shouldn't be any kind of like difference between the breads. I guess also like a pumpkin bread in this game is probably a lot easier to make in real life because you're just taking, I'm guessing it's pumpkin and flour or something. Because in real life it's a ton of spices and like oil or fat or something to like kind of make it moist. I was trying to let it like move forward so I could attack it on it on its own ground, but no, decided to stand still. Like, I feel like water isn't as hard as they said it was going to be to find. I thought that like they said water was going to be a way harder resource to navigate and get without like proper filtration systems. I guess I have been not drinking water this whole time, but I've only like forced suicide once in this game. Make a tier 4 pipe shotgun. That might be worth looking into. Hello cream might be good. I don't need rocks. Dumb zombie. I'm gonna neander back home and then I'll probably drop things off and maybe call the stream there. Since I don't think there's anything for me to loot on the way back. Pretty sure it's the military base, which is already looted. Why am I still weak? I thought I took pills. Oh, my weakened armor. Ew. I wonder what these two armors need to repair. Are these the same set bonus? No, these are not the same set bonus. Okay. It might be repair kits, which I think I only have one of. So that could be a problem. Is that a bear? Oh, it's a deer. Like egg. Pretty sure my shotgun doesn't have the range to kill this. If it gets stuck, though, I might be able to kill it. Surprised that worked. And unless I'm trying to path through this building. That's a painting, not a zombie. I don't have the stuff for this, right? The space. Go to the ShamWow. Okay, I need to do this. So if that guy's gonna waste his time, then I'm gonna start skinning this. Try to pay attention to the sound, though. It's being quiet to listen. There he is. It's a horrible sound you made there, sir. I'm a simple man. Seeing his big belly jiggle is a lot of fun for me. Oh, time to leave. That's a fun addition. Oh, that's actual like runner. It was a runner. I think I need to make the skeleton model on my screen. Like the mouth isn't moving. It's moving a decent amount. It's matching my lips pretty well, but it's not like opening very much. So it's hard to tell when I'm doing like an O sound or something else. Once again, that's probably because I need to make it so like it actually stretches the bone a little bit more, so it's not so like animated like how a bone would animate, since it doesn't have the lips to kind of like further show the details of talking. I don't know how that would look though, to make these skeletons like teeth like move kind of how lips would move. I think that would look kind of weird, but maybe having like the jaw deform a little bit would be more acceptable. I don't know how that would function though. Like, I don't actually know how to do that. I'm assuming it might just be blend shapes? I guess it'd be blend shapes. I don't know, man. 3D modeling's like a whole other universe of design space. Do I have a point? Oh, I do have a point. Sick. No, I can't do that though. Can't do that though. Can I do this? Can't do anything. Nope, got shafted. Because I feel like 3D modeling is a very interesting form of art. I guess I'd call it art. Art's a weird term. Like, I'm one of those weirdos in terms of, like, art as a concept where I don't really know how to define art consistently. To me, it'd be an expression of one's, like, intent or will. Like, if you want to show, like, happiness or sadness or, like, how you feel in that moment, art could do a very good job of, like, displaying that. But I often feel like the commercialization of it kind of gets me. I have nothing inherently wrong with people making money off of what they do. But where do you draw the line between a painting and, like, a pot? Like pottery. Because one has more inherent value from just a usable situation. Like, you can use a pot for a lot of different things. The painting is only there aesthetically. But it's no less valuable if the individual who views it in higher regard. That's why 3D modeling is such a weird thing to me, because it has a inherent value. Like, you can use a 3D model for whatever you can do with it. Animation, photography, like, whatever. You can do it for like a drawing thing, or if you want to use it as like an anatomical reference guide, to not use the little like armatures. Which is the name of the rig stuff for animation, anyways. This armature is probably a more definable term than the little skeleton dudes you use for drawing. But it's such a weird thing, because art is consistently like hard to. It's gonna be hard to do this. I'm gonna leave that there. art is hard to conceptualize and talk about because so much of it is subjective. Which is, I guess, the fun, right? It is the fun of like why art is art. Is it's such a subjective thing. But it means that defining someone as a artist or something as art becomes kind of like muddy at some point. Like, I wouldn't call myself an artist for making a skeleton. Yeah, I went through and made it all from scratch. There was no reference point besides photos for making this model. I didn't use like a guide or a thing. It just came from relatively nothing and became something that I did. But I wouldn't say that that is art in my regard. I did it solely because I wanted to understand the practical use cases for like 3D rendering and 3D modeling, because it's interesting stuff to me. But I'm sure that other people can make the argument that like, oh, it is art because it is a creative thing that I did. So, I don't know. Different. Very different. Put this in here. Water. 15 minutes. That's a long time. Anything else I need to do? I guess I could actually harvest wood and start making a house before, because I want to sell to the trader and buy things. I'm just stretching right now. Ugh. A pretty common conversation to have with my spike here. I need to destroy this. I need to run. A pretty constant conversation I have with my buddy, who's far more into like arts as a concept, and like he's much better at like illustration work and drawing than I ever will be. Which is not like a dig on me inherently. It is more so like a he's just better at it than me. Okay, I think I can outrun these for a second. And we always talk about like the impermanence of art. That's a big wandering horde. It's definitely locked still. I want to get around this corner. Ow. Because I like that art is impermanent. Like, I like that at some point the creations of today will be forgotten and discarded. Because I think that a lot of the like derivative nature of art as a concept gets kind of lost on me. Like, not lost on me, but like I just don't value it as much. Like, I think it is definitely skill to be able to make a replica of a painting. Or to like paint in a style, or do something like that. But I think that there's more value in my mind behind expressing yourself in such an earnest way. Like, there's a YouTube channel called Pilot Red Sun, and his illustrations and art is quite crude, both in terms of the humor, but the actual like the stylization is quite rough. And I don't think that means that it's any less. I need to get rid of that stupid spike. It's not any less valuable than something else. I think it's actually more valuable because he's expressing something that's more himself and more unique. I mean, at least I'm assuming it's a guy. But I don't know. Because of that, I feel like you can really see more of the intent of the artist behind the art. And that is way more interesting than, like, somebody being technically good at something. That could just be the mindset I have due to people like Salvador Dali. I think it's Salvador. Because Dali was undeniably a master at realism for painting. He was so good at making like portraits and like capturing people's just them as a concept. But Dali hated it. he got so good at it that he hated doing it. Like, he always found it as kind of a more tedious thing to do. So he started doing surrealism as a concept, because surrealism was more of like taking the realistic paintings that he was so known for, so good at doing, and subverting the expectation of the viewer by having them be kind of like obfuscated from the norm. And that, to me, holds way more value. The Dali saw that he was good at something, but said, hey, I don't particularly like doing this. It's not very fun for me. It's not very engaging for me mentally. What can I do with these skills other than just make, like, painting of person 12? Oh, I'll make this weird one where, like, a clock's melting. I'll make one where, like, his face is like some messed up object. And a lot of those paintings end up being more personal in terms of like their intent. They might just seem like nonsense, but some of them have a lot more like nuance than you would give them. I don't think Dalis do as much. Maybe they do, and I just don't understand the subtext of it. But the ones that always get me are like seeing the mental degradation of an artist like Francisco Goya. Love Goya's paintings because he was a pretty good artist. And then he started going through, I can't recall if it was actually like a psychosis or if he suffered from lead poisoning. I don't know if that was ever defined or if I just don't remember. But he had mental issues. Whether that was caused through chemical imbalances or an external factor in his life, it's represented through his art. His black works, the more surrealist paintings he did, were undeniably breathtaking. And it shows this level of like franticness and this like incomprehensible like sadness to his paintings. That shit's great. Love it. So it's hard for me because I'll look at a painting from like what's that guy's name? Warhol. And be like, Warhol's paintings, not like the art factory he ran where paintings came out of, but his paintings were really good. He was like unreasonably good at some things. His stupid Campbell Soups paintings are like masterfully done. And it's annoying because he was so good at it, but he just did not give a shit, it seemed like. And maybe there's some like beauty to that, to him just not caring. But it does kind of diminish the value of art as a concept, you know? Because it became more about like the consumerist nature of art, like the idea of people buying it and selling it, than it was actually about the meaning behind it. And you can see like that direct parallel between like Dali and Warhol, because they're both really talented painters. But one went away from the idea of like realism because he couldn't find something that made him happy, and one decided to monetize it and to monetize art as a concept. I think I'm less mad at Warhol for monetizing art and more upset at him for commercializing it with the like art factories, because that really to me was the degradation point of modern art. Well, it's not like well known now, or like it's not a thing that I think happens as much as it used to. At some point it was just like people getting together and pumping out tons and tons of rather low quality art in terms of its concept. It's more like kitsch, like kind of pop stuff, and then just selling it to whoever they could, using the name of Warhol as a sticking point, saying, hey, this is a Warhol painting or a Warhol statue or whatever, but he had no interaction or no thing behind it. He was just attaching his name to it. It feels very very manipulative and very phony as a concept. So I don't know. That kind of stuff gets me about art. And it kind of muddies my ideals in terms of like what art is and what an artist is or that kind of stuff. Because if you say that Warhol isn't an artist, but Dali is it because Warhol monetized it that he's not one, or is it because you don't like his art? So it's a weird like take on how you can view things like that. It's so subjective in nature, is what I'm trying to come across. So that's why I struggle with the idea of like what is art? What is an artist? Who is an artist? What does an artist do? Because I'm sure that they have different meanings for different people. For me, it's an expression. Like, art is anything that expresses the individual or like an emotion or the state of the person. It's not the most definable thing, but because of that definition for me, it means that my skeleton isn't art under my classification. Not because it doesn't have artistic merit, but because I didn't do it for a reason other than to do it. There's no, like, I really like skeletons or whatever. I just think skeletons are neat. Give me some crafting skill books. I think skeletons are neat. I like them. They're pretty fun.
What are you standing there for? Don't you have work to do?
Did your stuff change again? It did change, I think. Bow hunting, medical. What is this treasure hunter? This one's good. Nothing there is really interesting. I was hoping you'd sell a cheaper wrench, but you don't even have wrenches at all now. The hell is an ammo pack mod? Oh, armor pocket. I thought it was ammo pocket mod. I was like, what the fuck is what the hell is that? You sell honey. You have athletic gloves.
I don't even know why I open the doors.
This one book could probably be worth buying, but everything else I don't think I really need. Well, I think that's enough yapping for me. Enough talking about art as a subjective thing. I believe I am all set. Let's pop open my box. Did not get sledgehammers still, so that's cool. I got a skill point. Pop that in there. Sledges. Dude, I've only gotten... Is that really 2 skill in sledges? That's crazy. I need 2 more skill points to be able to get the next tier of a sledgehammer for stone. If that's true, that's gonna take me a while to get there, man. But I've been, like, pumping all my stats into, Stone Crusher. Or Skull Crusher, not Stone Crusher. Which I thought, like, finding more sledges and... I thought this would make it so the, chance of finding magazines for sledgehammers would be higher, but I have not found, like, any of them. Like, in comparison, what the hell is my gun skills? Handgun, shotgun, rifle. My rifle skill is double my my sledge skill. My armor skill is 11. My food is 12. That's funny. I guess I can do this while I'm here and remembering this, because I will not remember this for next time. Get those crafting. Is that all my meat? That was all my meat. So I don't think I can do anything else. Like, before I do this... no, because I want to get chilies and like the big stuff going, which I don't have the recipes for those yet. So it's not really worth me doing that. That's going to take a while to cook. Well... that will be the stream for the day. I'm big now. Why does this make me big and nothing else? I thought that this would also... I think my scenes are messed up. I thought that this would make me big and also put on the we'll be right back screen. Because I think it should be this. Yeah, it should be this for this scene, I think. I wonder why that got messed up. Honestly, I should probably just do, like, this. make myself real big. If it wasn't a hassle for me to remember how this works, I'd also make myself like kind of pixelated like the background image, but that'd be far more work for me to implement than I think I understand how to.